Two quick things before we start. The first one is Happy Independence Day. The second thing is thank you so much for everyone who supports this channel to help it reach 1,000 subscribers. To me, that's an amazing achievement, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you who helped this channel reach that level. So very appreciative of that, and let's jump straight into it. So in terms of the exciting event that's coming up, which is the test flight for Virgin Galactic, we've got less than a week now. In fact, we've got 5 days, 17 hours, 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Make sure to add this to your calendar and to share this with your friends on Facebook as well as Twitter. So let's jump straight into the details, because that's what's really important about this test flight. So first of all, the timing. So it's scheduled to happen on the 11th of July. In terms of the different time zones, we've got 6 a.m. for Pacific time, 9 a.m. for Eastern time, and 2 p.m. for British summer time. So make sure to add that to your diaries. So one really important thing to remember is that the actual test flight window opens on July the 11th. So July the 11th is on a Sunday, but what that means is because it's a test flight window, the actual flight can happen any moment from July the 11th onwards. So it could be days, it could be potentially weeks from that day. So one of the things that we need to look out for is, if you have a look here, July the 11th pending weather and technical checks. So in terms of weather, we've got Spaceport America, which is near Albuquerque. So I thought let's have a look at Albuquerque weather. So Albuquerque weather from Sunday the 11th of July, which is when the test flight window opens, is going to be amazing. And literally the whole week after that, the weather is just going to be perfect. Nice summer day with not much wind. So weather's definitely on our side in terms of this test flight, which is a good thing. Moving on, we've also got the fact that this will be the first test flight of Virgin Galactic to actually carry a full crew, and what that means is we've got 2 pilots, Dave McKay and Michael Masucci, and we've also got 4 mission specialists, one of which is Sir Richard Branson himself, who is going to test the private astronaut experience. In other words, he's not going to really do much, but obviously he's going to generate plenty of publicity. Okay, so in terms of what objectives we're actually going to achieve from this test flight, here are the objectives. So evaluating the commercial customer cabin with a full crew, including cabin environment, comfort, weightless experience, and views from Earth that the spaceship delivers. And this is all to ensure every moment of the astronaut's journey maximizes the wonder and awe created by space travel. And then the next 2 include demonstrating conditions for conducting human-tended research experiments, and also confirming the training program at Spaceport America supports the space flight experience. So what's quite important to remember is if we go back to the Q1 earnings presentation and look at the flight test program, you know that we've had a successful first flight, which was the May 22nd test flight that we had, and we are about to have the second test flight, which includes 2 pilots and a full cabin of mission specialists, which I've just mentioned in that article. But what's really interesting is if you have a look at the third flight objectives, you can see that it mentions private astronaut experience and also including Sir Richard Branson. But what you can see is that actually in the second test flight, which is the one that's going to happen on the 11th of July, that will include Sir Richard Branson, and that will involve testing the private astronaut experience, as they've actually mentioned here. So one of the things that I'm thinking is potentially the third flight will be joined with the second flight, meaning that the next flight on the July the 11th potentially could cover second and third flights, meaning that once this is done, and hopefully after it's successful, we might be able to skip the third flight and jump straight to the fourth flight, which will save us plenty of time. This flight will demonstrate the microgravity research and professional astronaut training markets. So imagine if we skip the third flight, that will put us right back on track, because as you know, this first flight was supposed to happen in December, had some issues, so had to be delayed, and finally it was successful in May. But now it looks like we potentially could skip the third one, saving us a lot of time and potentially putting us right back on track, which is quite exciting. Okay, so in terms of how to watch the actual test flight, this will be the first time we actually do a global live stream of the space flight, so definitely something not to miss. The live stream will be available on virgingalactic.com, and it will also be simultaneously casted on the Virgin Galactic Twitter, YouTube and Facebook channels. I'll make sure to put the links for all 4 of these channels into the description box below, so make sure that you bookmark either this video or the links that I put onto the description section so that you don't miss this exciting test flight. So like I mentioned about the timing, 7 a.m. MDT, 9 a.m. EDT, something not to miss. I know I'm definitely going to be watching this, getting popcorn ready, so definitely don't miss this. In terms of who's going to be on the test flight, the mission specialist wise, we've got Beth Moses, who will pretty much be overseeing the whole flight, all aspects of it. So more coordinating. We've got Colin Bennett, who is the lead operations engineer, more to do with experience, equipment and procedures. Then we've got Sarisha Bandler, who's the Vice President of Government Affairs and Research Operations at Virgin Galactic. So she'll be dealing with the research side of things. And then we've got Richard Branson, obviously. He's going to be the evaluator of the private astronaut experience. And he's going to undergo the same training, preparation and flight as the Virgin Galactic's future astronauts. What's exciting about this is that someone like Richard Branson, he's obviously quite... I don't actually know his exact age. Let's have a look. But... so he's 70 years old. So if someone like Richard Branson, a 70-year-old man, is able to train up for a space flight like this, then it really just demonstrates that anyone can go to space. And I'm sure most of his customers are going to be of that age, especially as it takes a long time to build enough wealth to actually be able to afford a ticket to space. So I think this is another sign or another benefit of having Richard Branson in space, is that he's demonstrating to his 70 plus customers that, you know what, you can do it as well if he can. So again, we've got Dave McKay and Michael Masucci as the pilots. So Dave McKay here, former RAF pilot, and then we've got Michael Masucci, who is a former NASA pilot. So we've got some good people flying with us. And in terms of the VMS Eve, we've got CJ Sturkow and Kelly Latimer. So exciting people. And here, so they said, in terms of what happens after the flight. So following the flight and in line with normal procedures, the team will complete inspections of the vehicles and an extensive data review, which informs the next steps in the flight program. 2 additional test flights are planned before the company expects to commence commercial service in 2022. So like I mentioned earlier, they mentioned 2 additional test flights are planned, but at the same time, there will be a data review which will inform the next steps. So it's quite vague in terms of what they're planning to do, but like I said earlier, I have a feeling one of my predictions is the fact that we might see the 3rd flight skipped, especially as Richard Branson and the private astronaut experience is going to be covered in this 2nd test flight. So fingers crossed that it's successful. Be sure to keep this in your diaries and bookmark the actual links that I put below, and make sure to tune in on the 11th of July. Hopefully that's when the test flight will happen. I'll definitely keep you guys up to date about any new announcements. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to this channel for future updates. And again, thank you so much for helping us achieve 1,000 subscribers. Take care. Bye.